habits that I've found Americans do that are considered rude here in the UK and in other countries in the world. But let me know if I've missed something. Let me know if I've done any of these. That'd be kind of embarrassing if I have. Hey guys, welcome to the Hickson Diaries, where we talk about my life as an American living here in the UK. And today I would like to talk about American habits that are considered rude in just about every other country in the world. Eating while walking around in public. Now, it's really customary for the fast-paced American lifestyle to just grab a bite and eat it on the go while you're getting somewhere in a cab or even in your car as you're driving somewhere. However, in a lot of cultures, it is considered to be very rude. You are supposed to sit down when you're eating. You're supposed to slow down. You're supposed to appreciate what you're eating and really savor the food properly. Here in the UK, I can vouch for the fact that dining out is an event more so than just grabbing a bite to eat. So I fully understand why people consider this kind of rude, especially when you connect it with the fact that people aren't always the cleanest eaters when they're eating on the go and tend to not always be respectful of the environments around them while they're eating and other people around them while they're eating. I can't say that I don't eat on the go because, like, at least breakfast I eat on the train most of the time, just because I have to be at work so freaking early. I fully understand why this is considered to be something that can be kind of rude and just something that you should just take a little more time and a little more thought into. That eating while walking might seem to some other people as uncouth and kind of sloppy. This next one's kind of obvious, but speaking really loudly. In many parts of the world, speaking loudly in public is considered disruptive and very impolite. In the United States, though, it's pretty common for people to talk with elevated voices, especially if they're on the phone or you're in a group setting. I can't tell you how many times that I have been told by a British person, "Why are you yelling at me?" when I'm like, I'm really not. Maybe I got a little excited about the topic that I was talking about, so my voice went up a notch, but I really wasn't yelling. But in a lot of other cultures, especially here in the UK, you are expected to maintain a lower, more subdued tone, especially when you're in public. Oh, and especially if you're on the phone or in an enclosed public space. Like if you're on the bus or if you're in a pub or something, it is really, really rude to be loud on your phone. And speaking too loudly in general tends to draw unwanted attention and is considered disrespectful to the public space and the community. Wearing shoes indoors. This one I kind of get mixed reviews on here in the UK, but I know it's really big in Europe. Taking your shoes off when you're entering someone else's home is considered respectful. A lot of people consider wearing shoes inside the house to be uncouth and almost like dirty. And I kind of get that because you wear these shoes outside, but there's mud and it's always raining, so it's wet and all of that. So I can understand why it can be a little bit unnerving to have people walk in your home with shoes on. But personally, overall, I don't really care. The habit of taking your shoes off when you walk in the door just keeps the carpets clean, it keeps the floors clean, and it keeps just the indoors from being dirty and grimy. So I guess that it just rubs people the wrong way when they wear their shoes indoors. Smiling way too much at strangers. I have to admit, this is something that the British has definitely tamed me. In America, smiling at strangers is so common. It's considered a friendly gesture. For me, it's always been an acknowledgement of another human being in that space. I even remember when I first met my partner, when we were walking somewhere and I saw someone on the street and I said, "Hi, how are you?" And they were like, "Do you know that person?" And I was like, "No." "Why are you even talking to them then?" And it was so strange to me that him as a Brit did not understand why I would say hi to that person. But now that I've lived here for a couple of years, I've found myself, not all the time, but sometimes, not acknowledging other people on the street. And I'm kind of disappointed in myself, to be honest. Smiling for no reason at people that you don't know is sometimes considered suspicious and fake. And I think that's why it's not really done as a custom here in the UK. It's really important when you're in a different country to gauge the social norms of the country that you're in, and to not take it personally, and understand that what is friendly in one place can be considered extremely odd and unsettling in another. Tipping when you don't actually have to. This is something that's a struggle, because tipping in the United States is just a way of life. It's just part of life. You tip everywhere for most things that are services being provided for you. It's hard for Americans to get their head around the fact that this is not a common practice in other countries. Here in the UK, you don't really tip often. I know some people who don't tip at all. I also know that it can be seen as somewhat of an insult in some cases as well. You have to be careful when tipping outside of the US. But I also ask to be a little bit more understanding if you know the person is from America, that they're not doing it intentionally, and that they genuinely think that they're helping that person. Asking personal questions too soon. This is very American, but I think the problem is the line of personal gets kind of grayed out and blurred a lot more than British people realize. So Americans often use personal questions to kind of break the ice. You'd ask, what do you do for a living? Oh, is that good work? Are you married? Do you have children? And in the UK, that's considered very, very specific. Those are the types of questions you would only ask if you've known the person for a while, if you have some kind of rapport with the person. If you've just met them, asking them about their family and stuff is something that is extremely uncomfortable and is not acceptable in the social setting. You really need to be careful when talking to British people in general that you don't know that well. These questions just come off as insensitive. People in the UK value privacy very, very much. And if they invite you in, then that's fine. There is no expectation that you will automatically be invited in, as there is in American culture. So it's better to just let personal information be shared voluntarily and then go from there. Cutting the line. Inevitably, whenever I talk about this in one of my videos, I always get the question from a commenter, isn't it customary to not cut the line everywhere? And it probably is in most places in Europe, in most places in the UK. But Americans always think they have priority, that they're special in some way. I hate to put it that way, but it's the truth. They just don't think they have to wait all the time. And it's not uncommon for people to cut lines, for people to jump in front of other people, for people to think they're in a hurry, so they have the right of way and other people have to wait for them. In the UK and in other countries, wait your turn. You do not jump the line. It doesn't matter how much of a hurry you're in. If you're late or if you're missing something, that's on you. You should have planned your day better. Americans always expect free refills on drinks. It's almost uniquely American, this concept of free refills for beverages. In America, you get tap water served for you without even asking most places that you go to eat. You also get free refills typically on soft drinks, whether that includes soda, generally like milk and juice, and like iced tea or something like that. But in most other parts of the world, especially here in the UK, once you buy a drink, that's what you get. And if you want more, you need to ask for more. For Americans, I think this is something that definitely gives a rude vibe off to the local communities when they travel here in the UK and then the rest of Europe, because they're expecting a free refill just because that's what they're used to in their culture. And it comes off as presumptuous and could even cause confusion and irritation in most other places where it's not the norm. People using first names without permission or using nicknames that they aren't necessarily authorized to use. In the United States, addressing someone by their first name is very common and is often encouraged to foster a kind of friendly, kind of comfortable environment. But I've noticed here in the UK, people are extremely particular about their names. For example, if your name is Alan and you introduce yourself as Alan, they're expecting you to call them Alan. And if you call them Al, they will get upset because they don't know you and they don't have a personal connection with you. So you are not allowed to call them anything but what they told you to call them. I kind of get this because my name is Mandy and it's typically short for Amanda, although my name is not Amanda. A lot of people assume so because of that commonality. So sometimes they'll call me Amanda and I'm like, my name's not Amanda. I have found that other Americans here in the UK do stuff like this a lot. And I've also seen that it becomes extremely uncomfortable. It's considered just way too informal and disrespectful, particularly in professional settings or if you don't know that person very well. It's advisable that you just use titles and surnames, or you just call them whatever it is they've introduced themselves as until you have a more intimate, informal relationship. I think Americans just, in general, think that their way is the right way and that their culture, especially because it translates so much to the outside countries, to across the borders, and other cultures do not translate as much into the United States, that it's just considered like they're almost Americans are go to other countries expecting to be accepted for who they are because they're American. Might come from the fact that it's indoctrinated into us from basically birth that we're the best country in the world. Could have something to do with it.